Welcome to the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency only working with premium cannabis dispensaries. In our episodes, we bring you the most up-to-date strategies and tools for your dispensary's SEO game plan so that you can reach the top of the search engine rankings and capitalize on your growing organic traffic to increase your sales. A light-hearted mix of our daily lives and SEO knowledge will leave you laughing and informed so that you keep coming back for the next episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the High Rankings podcast. We are on episode 90. I think we're on like season 3 at this point. I forget. I can't remember how many times.
3, episode 2.
Yeah, so we've renewed ourselves twice. I need to start some contract negotiations, I think, for these renewals. We just rubber stamp them, you know?
Yeah, no.
Just no.
No.
All right, well, before we take a dive... Oh, by the way, I hope everyone liked our new introduction that we did for season 3.
New introduction, not a big deal.
Well, not for you. You didn't do any of it.
I mean, I picked the music. Well,
No, you didn't. Anyway,
moving on.
moving on. So what's new? What have you done so exciting in your life since last week?
So girlfriend's birthday was over the weekend. That was fun. We went to a get-together for her college alumni.
Mm-hmm.
She went to NC State. So there's the Wolfpack. So we went to a gathering there. We had brunch. And then, I'm in my late 20s. So the day drinking thing is brutal. Yeah, the whole day. Yeah. Started with mimosas, and then of course you have a few beers and then hop around a bit. And I was taking a nap by I think 5 o'clock. I napped for an hour and a half, and I woke up. I had a blistering headache. Yeah, that's just part of being old, right? So that was Saturday. Sunday, watched the Broncos blow their spot in the playoffs. Pretty sad. Wah. They got one. Tough first half for them.
Is that?
It's called football.
I don't football. I watched some games, and then I know the last game I watched, Buccaneers game, where they won to get into the playoffs, but I think they just lost again, didn't they?
I think so. Broncos hit the post on a last second field goal before the half. Yeah, that was pretty tough. That was a tough one to swallow. Yeah, so they're out, and of course, still following the Avs. That new goalie tandem, he's fucking nasty. That kid is so good. They are 7-1 since the goalie swap. And that's never happened in the NHL where the GM gasses both goalies. They both of you are hot garbage. Y'all are out. Brought in 2 new goalies, and now they're 7-1. They were statistically the worst goalies in the league, and now they're the best.
Oh, well, there you go.
So, yeah, and I've been playing hockey. Turns out my hand is still broken.
Oh, yeah, because it has magically fixed itself all these months.
Yeah, so I was talking to a buddy that he's the PT guy. He said, you look at scar tissue, you get some scar tissue, but it's still going to be broken. You'll need to fuse it into surgery. So, yeah, that's cool. And yeah, I played hockey on Friday. I'm going to play hockey every Friday afternoon. And I was sore for 4 days. I can still feel it, my adductor, abductor, pushing out for inside edges, as a goalie.
But you're old.
Yeah, that too. And doing an hour and a half of squats and that equipment just gets to it. It was fun. It was still great being out there on the ice. I forgot how fun hockey is.
Well, it's probably more fun when you were younger and you could actually, survive playing.
Move around. Yeah. Anyway, what was new in your world?
Took a weekend trip up to Ohio where it was cold as balls.
When you say cold, what do you mean?
Well, for us Floridians, it was in the teens. And when we got there was inches of snow on the ground, and then it snowed, and then it snowed a bit more. So, yeah, it was very cold, very snowy. But it was the nice snow. It was where it was still white snow, it hadn't quite turned into brown slush. So it was very beautiful, just very cold. Got overserved tequila on Friday night.
Whoever served you?
Well, see, here's what had happened. So we had gotten into town to surprise some friends of ours because one of them was having a party. We didn't tell either of them, their husband and wife. We didn't tell them we were coming into town at all. They didn't think we were coming to the party, whatever. So We were staying at another friend's house. So we were with those friends all day. And then we went to the Mexican so we go to the Mexican restaurant, and the people that we're staying with, they go in first. And then this couple and their child go in. And so we let them get settled. And then my husband and I walked in. Now, they've never met my husband either. So we walk in and we surprise them. And I had promised my one friend that I would have what do they call it? The big drinks at Mexican restaurants? Margarita with her. One. Even that's pushing it. But I had one. And then she ordered me another one, which I did not order. I hadn't even finished the first one, and she had ordered me a second one. And then they surprised me because my birthday's in a few weeks, but obviously I won't be with them. They surprised me with a cake and a gift. Oh. And then the owners of the Mexican restaurant came and they put a sombrero on my head. And they sang happy birthday, and then they gave me a shot of tequila, which, by the way, I did not use salt or a lime for. And then he had whipped cream on a napkin and shoved that in my face.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I surprised my friends, and then my friends turned around and surprised me. So, yeah, I did get legitimately overserved because I didn't ask for the tequila shot and I didn't ask for the second margarita.
How'd you feel in the morning?
Fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Hungover or anything?
No. But the others have been day drinking. So when we had gotten there, we'd gone to a couple of breweries. And so everybody else had had a few drinks. But I, one, don't day drink. And two, don't really drink beer. So I hadn't been drinking with them. So.
Breweries, plural.
Yeah, they'd gone to a couple of breweries.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite the day.
It's quite the day, but it was a fun time. It was a fun trip. We had a great time. It was really good hanging out with my friends. It was good that my husband finally met them, and we had a great time. The flight up there was quick and easy. The flight back was quick and easy.
How's the airport?
Airport was fine. I mean, yeah, we got through like TSA pretty quick. I literally have got no complaints about the travel situation this weekend at all.
Do you have pre-check?
No, I don't fly enough to get pre-check, honestly. I really don't. It's just not worth it to us to pay it. So yeah,
how long of a flight is that?
It's like less than 2 hours. The first one was like up there was like an hour and 45 minutes, and I want to say back was like an hour and 50, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, it's not. So yeah, it was a good, easy flight. Yeah, it was a fun time. So I'm sad because I don't know when I'll see those friends again, but I do have another trip planned. Not there, but I have another trip planned for end of February.
Where is this one?
This one, I'm going to Savannah.
Oh, yeah. You're staying in that. The dumbest fucking idea. Like, no.
Why
so asinine.
Idea?
Staying in a place that you know is haunted. It's like,
did you tell your girlfriend?
Oh, no, I haven't. Well, maybe I did.
Telling you, I've told you last time, she would 110% stay with me.
I don't know. She gets pretty spooked easily. What she showed you the picture. She thought she saw a ghost.
Yeah, see, I didn't see that in her picture. I'm not saying that I didn't see what she saw. That's all I'm saying.
She might.
We would, because when we were there, we were talking about doing the haunted tour in that one house.
But then part of me is just like, she's going to say, like, you're insane, you're a crazy person, you're on your own.
She wouldn't, because she likes me. But she also wouldn't.
And she's going to say something like, all right, I get your books. If
yeah, she would. Are you going to will me all your books?
Yeah, but no, you're out of your mind. You're out of your fucking mind. You're on your own with that fan.
Well,
that ain't me.
I guess I'll have to report back after I've been and stayed there to let you know.
Is that the kind of thing where like the phones like magically stop working and there's like no reception?
I don't know. Guess we'll be finding out. It's not like, I mean, it's a proper inn. It's not like I'm going to go do a ghost hunt. You know how like on TV they do ghost hunts in like rundown shacks of buildings? It's not like that. It's an actual working, running inn where people stay all the time.
You're not staying in like the house at the end of Blair Witch Project?
Like this inn it's a working business, so it can't be like that horrifying.
The guy's just staring at the wall.
I'm back like zombified. No, it's not going to be like that.
Still, it's just such a stupid idea. But I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. So.
I told you that night when we were standing outside of it that I would want to stay there.
Yeah, but I didn't think you were serious. I mean, I say sometimes like I want to be like a race car driver or something. I don't know. I'm not going to stay in a haunted room or haunted bed and breakfast. Savannah is pretty cool though. What was that restaurant we went to?
Oh, the one on the river. Something on the river.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
actually,
good.
this time I think we're going to go to the pirate's house because I still haven't been there yet.
Oh yeah, that's where she took that picture.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but
Yeah, okay.
I still haven't been there, and my girlfriend that I'm going with hasn't been to Savannah at all. So I'm excited for her to see the town because it's beautiful. But yeah, she's never been to Savannah at all, so everything will be new to her, which will be kind of nice.
Gotcha. Cool. That sounds like, well, actually, no, it doesn't sound like fun. It sounds terrible. But sounds like an experience.
It is going to be a fantastic experience, but that's not for a few weeks. I have a birthday in between there, so can't wait to see what you buy me for my birthday.
Anyway,
Since my Christmas gift still hasn't arrived that I was supposed to be getting last week.
it hasn't. Oh damn. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're full of shit.
No, I'm not.
You are.
No, we got you something.
Yeah, you haven't mailed it out yet, though.
We have.
You're a lot.
Yeah, we have. Like the whole thing.
No, you haven't.
Mm-hmm.
You're so full of shit. If you had, it would have been here. Anyway, what are you getting me for my birthday?
Moving on. I don't even know what those words are. I don't know. What do you want for your birthday? By no means am I saying you will actually get it. Actually, I can just guarantee that.
I want tickets to the Austin Grand Prix.
Ooh, when is that?
And a flight and a hotel room.
When is that?
I think it's in the summer. Miami's like May sometime, if I remember correctly. May, I think. Let's see, Austin GP. I don't want to go to Miami, obviously. 2025.
Very fun to go to.
October. Oh, I can't go.
Why?
Because I'm going on a cruise.
Oh no.
I guess I want tickets to the Miami GP then. Ugh.
Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, so you asked me what I wanted, so that's what I wanted. Moving on, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is our podcast and how great we are. This week, we are going to be talking about SEO for multi-state operators, or MSOs, which literally means your dispensary has a store, or you have dispensaries in more than one state. Obviously, there are dispensaries that have multiple locations within one state, but we are talking about those of you that have dispensaries in more than one state, because that can complicate things sometimes. So that is the subject of this 90th, can you believe it? 90 episode.
90.
No, that's crazy. So anyway, yeah. So obviously we're going to go through like local SEO and that kind of thing. But outside of that, there are challenges that are unique to MSOs, literally based on the fact that they are in multiple states. For example, one of the unique challenges that we come across ourselves, actually, when we work with MSOs, is the variations in regulation between states. Obviously, not just like recreational marijuana is legal, or if it's just medicinal marijuana. Like, obviously, that definitely will change across the board in terms of what you can and what you can't provide to your local residents. But on top of that, there's also restrictions and requirements as far as what you can refer to your dispensary as. Because in some states, let's say you were doing your GMB or your Google business profile, you cannot use the word dispensary, for example, right? So you might have, 4 states that you operate in, and 3 of the 4, you can absolutely call yourself ABC Dispensary. But there'll be one state, I can't think off the top of my head, you probably can, than me
Michigan?
in terms. Okay, Michigan. You cannot refer to your dispensary as a dispensary as per the regulations within that state. What verbiage are we allowed to use in Michigan?
You can say cannabis retailer.
Cannabis retailer. Okay.
Yeah.
Is every dispensary within Michigan, everyone calls themselves a cannabis retailer? Like, there's no other terminology that they can use or do use?
No, a lot of them will still use dispensary, like their GMBs and all that. I mean, that's risking a fine, but cannabis retailer is the safe way to go.
Okay. Is there also, obviously, everybody, regardless of what state you operate in, you can't advertise on Google. Like, that's just a given. That's a federal thing that Google.
Yeah, that's a no bueno. That's a good way to get your domain and GMB both just rugged. Get the rug pulled out from under you. Yeah, that's
literally off the board. Yeah,
that's a no go to that.
No matter where you are for that, as far as that goes. So obviously, there's that. Which then, of course, comes into your branding, right? So, for example, if you can't use the word dispensary in Michigan, is that going to change the way that you brand yourself or the name that you call yourself? because one of your, say, 4 states you operate in has a different rule. So those are things that you kind of have to, navigate around as far as branding yourselves, getting your name out there, making sure that your brand, your name, everything that you have works in every location that you're at. That obviously comes into play. And this is kind of more on your end of things, you have to be able to manage your SEO, your local SEO in each location, in each state, and your rankings in each location, in each state, because what might work rankings wise for your dispensaries in Michigan might not work rankings wise for your dispensaries in, say, Texas. So you really have to be able to hone in and understand your audiences within and your customers within each state and identify what's working there and what's not working there and adapt as necessary to your locations.
Right. And an easy way, actually, it should be the first step too, is looking at the competitors. So if you're in Denver and you're going maybe downtown Denver or Capitol Hill, you can place the Google pin on maps in that area and you can see, one, who your competition is. And then somebody in every major city is getting like 80% of the traffic. And you can see how they're set up. And then you can reverse engineer, okay, like how's their GMB or Google Business Profile set up? How's their website set up? There's a reason why they're at the top. And it could be just because they've been there the longest. They have like 30 locations. So that brand name is pushing a lot of weight into Google. But as far as research goes, which you should do, that's a great way to start.
So obviously, when you have multi-state operations, I know we've talked about this many, many times, you are going to have a state page for each state that you're in. And then you're going to have, just like you would if you had multiple dispensaries in one state, if you have multiple dispensaries in various states, you will have a page for each of those locations of those dispensaries. So if you're in 5 states and you have 5 dispensaries within each state, you're going to have 25 locations pages, and then you're going to obviously have 25 GMBs that are going to be optimized specifically for each location. And the website on those GMBs are going to take you to the locations page for the correct dispensary within the correct state, which initially the setup can be quite time consuming, obviously, because you have to provide everything that Google requires. But once it's set up, you shouldn't need to worry about it too much from there. But obviously you want to make sure that your data is correct in terms of the address, the phone number, the map, your hours, that kind of thing.
Category.
And yeah. Are you a
Have
cannabis retailer or are you a dispensary?
Yeah, the 4 categories are, as far as GMB, and yes, we have a whole episode about this. The business category, the primary one is cannabis store, and then your secondary categories should be smoke shop, cannabis club, vaporizer store, and alternative medicine practitioner. And when you put in that last category of alternative medicine practitioner, you're going to magically have a little button that pops up when you go to manage a GMB. It's called Edit Services. When you click on Edit Services, you can include cannabis flower, marijuana concentrates, cannabis extracts, marijuana edibles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Pre-rolls, and then you can have a little summary of each service. And then you can have ChatGPT come up with it. You can have a short summary, and then you can have like a fixed price on everything.
Oh, okay.
So that shows customers at your local level that you offer those services, those products, pre-rolls, cartridges, whatever it is, and then like a brief summary. You put some keywords in there, and then that's the price of it. Otherwise known as schema, data of data. And it's easier for people in your area, customers, to find your product.
Yeah. I was going to add something to that and my brain just fried completely. One thing I was going to say was also don't forget that for each location that you do have a GMB for, you also need to really make sure that you are still focusing on your reviews for each location. Because I sometimes feel like they can necessarily get forgotten, especially if there's like a main location or, the original location or something like that. But you need to make sure that each one of your locations focuses on the reviews as well. You have to treat each single one as its own separate entity in terms of, your Google business profile. So definitely make sure that you're paying attention to that.
Yeah, reviews are huge. Other than proximity, where like if a user searches dispensary near me, other than proximity, reviews is critical. Like it's so big for your listing to show up. And going back to the name of the Google Business Profile, it should be ideally, and you should file this through the state, file a DBA and get the necessary paperwork, have your legal team do this on your behalf. So, Kaz, if you had your own dispensary and you're filling in your GMB with a Google pin, ideally the name of this, and again, your lawyers who do this DBA paperwork, follow state regulations, should be Kaz's Marijuana Dispensary Miami. Ideally has your keywords and your city location, and people know by looking at the pin what it is that you offer.
Okay, that makes sense. So once we've set all of that up, are there, in terms of the menu, in terms of what you offer, because obviously products vary from state to state, what's the challenges in terms of setting up your menu, your products and your menus?
Yeah. So one, don't use an iframe. Two, have it segmented out properly. So like if the Florida arm of your dispensary website, you have a Miami location, your Miami city page should tie into your Google business profile properly. You have a UTM tag on there as well. And the menu should be the child page of that city page. So it should be kazdispensary.com/Florida dispensary/Miami dispensary menu. And then everything just populates on that page.
So it's effectively one menu per location or one menu?
It should be your individual location menu segmented out by location.
Okay. Just like if you had multiple locations in one state.
Correct. I think I know what you're asking. On the state page, each of your locations should be at the very bottom.
Yeah.
The name, address, phone number, and the Google pin.
Yeah.
And then on that location should be a button to that individual menu.
Got ya. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then that way, like Florida, Colorado, I don't know, Maryland, Pennsylvania, whatever it is, that's all organized, segmented. So that when Google reads the page, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the state where this is operating in. Yeah. These retailers are operating in. And then they have city pages underneath, quote, nested underneath that. So it would be like Kansas City. And then you have a menu on there.
Okay, so, and then it's each one. Because every state is going to maybe offer, different products or...
Yeah, maybe some edibles in one state, some concentrates in another, or city. Each menu is going to be different. So it has to be individualized.
Yeah, and then also depending on if you have rec versus non-rec, that changes things a lot too, so...
That is a good distinction, that you bring up. One is rec, one is medical. Yeah, you got to have that.
And you got to make sure that you are staying, well on top of what you can and what you cannot have within your state.
And also on the homepage, underneath your H1, it should have your city keywords in it. That's a little golden nugget. Always have the cities where you operate in your H1 on your homepage, your index page, because that's going to get the most traffic. The Shop Now button should be a modal, meaning when you click on Shop Now, a window pops up versus going to a different web page. So again, you click on Shop Now, window pops up and it says, what do you want? You want pre-rolls, concentrates, edibles, tinctures. And then when you click on I want pre-rolls, then it asks you what location are you, or which location do you want to go to.
Okay.
So if you're in like a different state, that's an easy way for the user to find their menu. Or if you if you want to start from the very beginning, actually, this is probably easier. The user is first prompted where they located, where you're shopping, and then they say they're in Miami. Then the site locks into that Miami arm of the website. That's probably the easiest way to do it, actually.
Yeah, and then they're not going to go anywhere else. They don't need to go anywhere else because they're in Miami. So they don't, But you also need to make sure, and here's perhaps where it may get tricky. Not tricky, but where you've got to pay attention to what you're doing, is your blog posts. You've got to be careful. If you're writing informational blogs, which most of them are going to be, but if you're writing things informational or you're updating something, or you have to make sure that the information that you're giving is relevant to all of the states that you operate in, unless your blog is specifically about Florida just went rec. It didn't, but I'm just saying, like, if that's what your blog is, then that's what your blog is. But if it's a general blog about, for example, I don't know, indica versus sativa or something, you need to make sure that any information that you are giving to your customers on a general blog is truthful and relevant to each state that you are operating in.
Yeah, it should be contextual and it should be of value.
Right.
And ideally have some sort of like personal touch, because that's what Google likes, whether it's like a case study or like a review or firsthand use, something like that. But yeah, that the content in general on the website should be dovetailed to your retailer.
Yeah, you don't want a customer coming into your dispensary in Texas, say, and they've read something on a blog that absolutely doesn't apply to Texas, and they're saying, well, but I read this on your website and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, like, you don't want that. You don't want to put that, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely
want it's better for SEO too to target where you're, like, for example, like a strain page, or like you said, indica versus sativa can be kind of broad in scope a little bit. So you want to narrow it down to like what states you operate in.
You just have to like really pay attention, because blogs you're not going to go to, say, a Miami dispensary page and then only have Miami blogs there. Your blogs are going to sit in a different section of your website. And so that's why you want to be careful about the information that's on there. Because if you're not giving relevant information, that 100% will affect your rankings, particularly on. And then as far as like data, you're just using the same tools that you would be using, right? So SEMrush, Ahrefs if you use it, Google Business, what am I saying? Google Business Profile, Google Analytics. You're not going to use anything necessarily specific. Is there like an easy way to compare like the data from like one state's dispensaries versus another? Is there something set up for that, or is that something you would have to be set up?
You can use, there's two things. There's a UTM tag you can use, and then there's, when you go into Google Business Profile Manager, you can click on the individual GBP. You can click on that individual account and you can see the performance month over month and then year over year. You can do that, or you can set up, actually you should do both, but you should also set up a UTM tag. A UTM tag is, if you ever click on a page from Google Maps or from the Maps pack, it's got like a question mark and UTM, and then it's got like a bunch of characters and numbers. It's like a fingerprint for that GMB. And then what you can do is go into Google Analytics and look at the performance of that thumbprint. You can see new visitors, engagement, time on the page, like all those KPIs. You can see that in GA4.
What does UTM stand for?
That is a great question. I'm glad you asked.
I thought you knew. I thought you'd be like, oh, off the top of my head, it's this.
Really? That's what it stands for? Urchin Tracking Module.
Oh, not okay.
I don't know what the fuck that is. Urchin. URCHIN. Yeah.
And
so that's what it stands for.
Do you put one of those on each page, or is it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, pardon me. You put it on each one of your city pages.
Oh, okay. On your city pages. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's, put it into the city page, but only, okay, so when you go into your you go to Google Business Profile and it says website.
Yeah.
Paste in the URL for your city page. And at the very end of that, then you upload your UTM tag. There's UTM generators all over it. So like, for example, you can go to like UTM Builder. So it's like just generate free UTM tags. It's real simple. It tells you how to do it. Put those on every one of your city pages. So if you have 2 in Florida, 1 in Miami, 1 in Sarasota, I don't know, those will have different UTM tags, different thumbprints than the one you have in Denver.
Okay.
And then you can track those in GA4. As
you build the page, as you create the page for each city, your data guru person should know to put that onto the page, and it's like a one-time deal. You just put it on there once and then it starts tracking all your data for you.
You put that UTM tag only in the Google Business Profile. With the open field that says website, put in your city URL, and at the very end of that URL, you put in the UTM tag.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then it just automatically just tracks everything that you need.
Yeah, and that creates the thumbprint that you track in GA4.
And then someone like you who knows data comes along and can read that from the tag.
Right, from that tag. So when you go into GA4, you can go into like sessions campaign, and you can see like UTM tag, and then you can like further pin it down to like, I forgot how to do it off the top of my head, but you can further drill down into each individual thumbprint. So tag, right? The Miami tag is different from the Sarasota tag. You can compare them. You can see performance over 30 days, 28 days, 2 weeks, 7 days, whatever it is. And then you can, if it's going up, if it's going down, however it is, you can make decisions based off of that data.
Is there any specific data that you would recommend that MSOs really like hone in on?
Yes. Use those UTM tags and then track the performance in the Google Business Profile Manager. There's literally a button that says performance, and it tells you what keywords it's being found by. And check Google Search Console to see what pages are performing in what manner. And then you can build content, supporting content like, I don't know, like strains, for example, and you can just page link them. It's an easy way to get local extra SEO juice. Does that answer your question? Like, what data should they specifically pay attention to?
I'm just thinking, like, in terms of like monitoring to make sure, obviously, about optimized pages, maybe, or like what pages are doing well for which, or like maybe in like each dispensary, how the organic traffic is flowing into each dispensary, like what pages are working for each location, that kind of thing. Is that even an option?
So you can track under landing pages and screens in GA4. You can track the UTM tags, like we're just kind of talking about. And then with your menu provider, Dutchy, Jane, whomever, you can track what products are selling best in where. You know which products to promote and which ones are not doing so well. And then you can, like, I guess, push those harder or just not stock them at all. That's up to you. But UTM tags, those local city pages, those are basically your sales pages. They're also tied into your menu. Those you're going to want to check the performance of those every day.
Okay. Now, can you run, you know how we do like Screaming Frog? Can you run that specific to each location, or is it just run as a website as a whole?
For like errors and everything?
Yeah.
You can do that for specific pages. Yeah.
Okay. Because that seems like that would make sense. If, for example, each dispensary wanted to keep an eye on itself, which I don't necessarily know that I would recommend doing, but it has that there's an option for them just to see themselves.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really give you the health of the website as a whole, does it? So I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably best maybe have two separate audits, but you should audit the entire domain. You should audit the domain as a whole at least twice a week.
Yeah. Because also, wouldn't you know then if one of your like local pages was not, you would know that, obviously. You'd know if one,
like if there's like a broken link, if there was
backlinks.
like I don't know, something maybe like something was linking from it and it's broken now, or the 404 or something. Yeah, like you should catch that pretty quick.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that each dispensary necessarily would be needing to worry about themselves is going to be those reviews.
Yeah, that's on the retailer. So you should have, I forgot what they're called, but it's like a little sign that says something like, how's your visit? Please rate us on Google. And you literally just scan the QR code with your phone. We do know of some retailers that do spiffs. So the bud tender that's mentioned the most in a Google review will get like $400 each month, something like that. And we have heard of some retailers offering, I don't know, like a free nug or something like that with a review, but we cannot comment on that because that is no bueno in Google's eyes. So
yeah, Google doesn't like that. Yeah.
Right. So just keep it clean, but yes, push for Google reviews. Those are highly, highly important.
And we also recommend that you interact with those reviews too, which is why I was saying like each location should be responsible for its own reviews. What I mean by that is each location needs to make sure that their bud tenders or their allocated person is responding to those reviews, whether they're positive or negative. You should be interacting with those reviews when they come in.
Yeah, show engagement, show that you actually care, and like that you actually do have a welcoming, retail environment.
Yeah, 100%. Is there any other challenges that you can think of that are really unique to MSOs outside of what we just went over?
Technical side, getting it properly structured, content side, the backlinks, focus on local citations as well. Like once the GMB is set up, name, address, phone number, your Yelp, if you're on Weed Maps, which, get off there as soon as you can, get all those local citations consistent and congruent. Yeah. And push for more reviews and get your content game on a calendar and should be good.
I thought I was going to ask another question. No, I think that was it.
Cool.
I think that was it. I don't think I have any more questions. I know we've worked with quite a few MSOs, so it's something that we've had quite a bit of experience in.
Yeah, it's fun. It's always different too. There's, like a snowflake.
Yeah, and it's also interesting. We've worked with dispensaries who have been expanding as we've been working with them. So not just more dispensaries, but into other states than what we started with them having. So obviously, sometimes it's a state we is new to us as well. So then we have to learn all about the regulations within that state to make sure that obviously that our client is following, as they should be. So it's always challenging. It's even challenging for us, even though, we have a lot of experience with it. No two dispensaries are the same. No two states are the same. No two locations are the same. They each have their own, unique set of challenges. So you just have to stay on your toes and be aware of, the regulations that you have to make sure that you and your clients are following.
Yeah, stay up to date and run audits on the website. Make sure there's no broken components to the website. You'll be good.
All right. Well, I think that's it for this week. But remember, if you have any questions, or there's something that you specifically wanted us to hit on in today's episode that we, for some reason, did not, you can always shoot us a message, or a DM. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. And while you're there, why don't you comment, subscribe, like, give us a review. I am not getting a bonus for the reviews that you give us. But we do really welcome them. We are always up for ideas, suggestions, things that we can improve on, topics that we haven't yet covered that you really want us to cover. So definitely feel free. We would absolutely love to hear from you. And in the meantime, have a great week. We'll be back again with a whole new episode next week. And stay warm.
Peace.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the High Rankings podcast, brought to you by Dispensary-Growth, the preeminent SEO agency for dispensaries. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you found value in the insight and the tips we shared. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, we would love it if you left us a review. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to cover in a future episode, or if you have any questions, you can go ahead and find us on LinkedIn or YouTube. We'll see you next time.